Hello, my crafty friends. Thank you so much for joining me. For today's card, I'm using the Karen Berniston Christmas Tree Pop Stand with a little different technique. My tree doesn't stand in the center. It pops through the front of the card so it can be seen from the front and from the inside. I've linked to both my blog and to Karen's instruction video so you can get any further information that you may need. This is a fun technique, so let's get started. My card is 5.5 inches square, so I began with double-sided cardstock that measures 11 by 5.5, creased in the center. For the front panel of my card, I used the largest oval in the Crosshatch oval set, along with the coordinating next size smaller, and then layered them together. Then using the same smaller oval, I cut one more from white and created a snowbank using the Outdoor Scenes die set. Here I'm putting a small dot of tape runner on the back of the snowbank so I can attach it to the oval temporarily. I took my time to get it lined up just right. The Christmas tree pop stand die has several trees and we will eventually be using all of them, but for right now we're just going to use this one. Here I have my die and my panel ready to go, so I'm just going to secure the die in place with a little tape, and then I'm going to take it to the die cutting machine. I'll be right back. Since this is a wafer thin die, I didn't expect it to cut through all three panels. Instead, it cut through two very nicely. You can see here, it left an impression, but it didn't cut. Now I'm going to remove the temporary snowbank. And I'm doing that with one of those crazy plastic cards that come in the mail that annoy everybody. But they're actually quite good for some things, like removing temporary tape. With the snowbank removed, I'm going to place the die back on the panel and run it through the die machine one more time. Since I'm back to only two thicknesses, I'll place the die back on the impression left on the panel and run it through the die cutting machine once again. As you can see here, there is a perfect cut in the panel. Now that our panel is just perfect, we're going to line it up on the front of our card. Now that I have the panel lined up as I want it, I'm going to place the die back in the opening, and you can see that it fits right inside. And now one more time through the die cutting machine. Now I want to remove the panel, take the tape off, add some glue to the back, and place it back on the front of the card. I like liquid glue here because I have a chance to move it around until it is perfectly placed. Now we just have to wait for glue to dry. I've already cut out all of the pieces for the pop-up tree from green cardstock. Now we're going to use these two pieces only. I've lined the tree up with the opening on the front panel, and I've added glue to the trunk portion only and adhered it down. That way it's adhered at the trunk but loose everywhere else, and that is what I want. While working with the front panel, I decided that it needed a little shimmer, so wanted to add some Wink of Stella. I put a mask behind the tree, and then I quickly added Wink of Stella to the front panel and all of the green panels. With that finished, it's time to add the second tree to the inside of the card. Lining it up so that it matches the outside section and adding glue to the trunk section only. Now the tree is attached to both sides of the card at the trunk only. I've already cut and assembled the rest of the tree. As you can see here, it's dimensional, but it also can be laid out flat. If you need a refresher on this, check out Karen's video linked below. I want it in the flat position for the next step, which is to place it behind the front tree on the front panel and line it up. Now you can see that the tree will be dimensional from the front and also from the inside. Now to keep the tree in place, I need to lift up that front tree and put a little dot of glue just under the tip. Press it down, wait for glue to dry. Now move to the inside and do exactly the same thing. This is a case where less is more. You just need a little dot to hold the top of the tree to the inside panel and to the card. The pop stand die set includes tree toppers, and I've cut 2 from gold glittered paper. I've covered the back with glue and attached it so that it holds the tree to the card. I've done exactly the same thing on the inside of the card, giving me a little extra insurance that the tree will stay put. With my tree securely in place, I worked on the additional snowdrifts. I made a long strip using the outdoor scene, and then somewhere near the middle, I used the Christmas tree die and cut an opening. I lined that opening up with the tree that was already on the card and then marked it with a pencil at the crease of the card and at the edge of the card. I then took it to my trimmer and trimmed it off. Not too scientific, but it works for me. I made additional inside pieces using the outdoor scene and the nature edges. I'm going to add these panels to the inside of my card, and I'm going to put glue just along the bottom edges and place them where I want them. Everything's looking good so far. I want some additional trees in my snowy scene, so I cut the outdoor edges again using green and added them over the white tree. I finished it off using 2 trees from the Evergreen pivot panel. For the green trees, I decided to make the trunks brown, and I did that using a Copic marker. I've already cut the 2 additional trunk pieces from the Christmas tree pop stand. However, they weren't dark enough for my liking, so I also added a little color to them. Using a little liquid glue, I'm going to place the trunks under the trees. You can see here why I like leaving those snowbank tops loose. I can slide the trunk in and press it down, then it appears to be right behind the snowbank. When I went to add the trunk to the front of the tree, I realized I had created a little catch point on the inside of my card, and that was caused by the placement of the trees on the inside snowbank. It turned out to be an easy fix, which I will describe and have photos on my blog, so stop over there for that. As it turned out, all I needed to do was snip off those 2 center trees, and that was easy to do because the top of the snowbank was still loose. I decided to go ahead and finish my card before I made the inside changes. I added red rhinestones both on the outside of the card and the inside. From word set 2, I put the word celebrate on the front. For the inside, a little creativity was needed. For the word the, I took the TH from thinking of you, added an E from another word, and for season, I used season's greeting, cutting off the apostrophe S. So now I'm going to go make those changes that I talked about earlier, eliminating the catch point. I will be right back. Okay, I'm back, and here's what I did. I cut off the bottom of the trees at the snowbank, leaving the trunk attached to the trees. After adding glue to the backs of the smaller trees, I moved them to a higher elevation where they wouldn't interfere with the working of the pop-up tree. The inside of the card still looks great, and it opens and closes smoothly. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've enjoyed this technique and will give it a try for yourself. I also hope that you'll consider pressing that subscribe button. Your comments are greatly appreciated, so I hope you'll leave me one. Until next time, bye-bye.